Opinions expressed on all radio shows broadcast on KYOK are entirely those of the host, guests, and callers who are entirely responsible for all show content and do not in any way reflect the opinions of KYOK Radio, its sponsors, staff, or management.
When you walk out on that field today, ask yourself this question. What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Let's go! We ready! We ready! We ready! We ready! And let's go to the house! And let's go to the house! When I step on the field, I send one message. This is what it feels like. This is what it feels like. Football is getting hit. That's it. It's gonna be football now. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Let's hunt now. Let's hunt now. Let's go. Let's hunt. We ready? And let's go to the house. And let's go to the house. We're talking about the Jets like we're talking about the Saints. You know, all this, how like we the Miami Heat of football. Yeah. The bottom line is you got to buckle up your chin straps. It's embarrassing. Yeah. Don't disrespect the game like that. It's too much crying from him. He's a man. They can be hit just like us. He's a man. You already make the big money. He's a man. I'm proud when you step on the field, man. That's who I did. When I step on the field, I send one message. This is what it feels like. Oh, my bad. Your bad don't work in my world. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. We ready? And let's go to the house. And let's go to the house. It's a wrap. Game over.
No, this game is just getting started right here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I'm AJ Jones. It is Winning Wednesday, and hope everybody is doing well. Hope everyone is doing well. Nikita LaFleur, how you doing? Hope the family is doing well. CJ, I see you there. Big Time Floyd, I see you there as well. We'll be announcing the winner of this week's Lunch Break Weekly, Keeping Up with the Joneses Pick'em Challenge. It did come down to another tiebreaker. I know y'all think I make this up sometime, but yeah, it was a three-way tiebreaker, and it was just points that separated the winner from those who didn't quite get it done. Charlotte Shar Taylor Made. Charlotte Shar Taylor Made. What up, though? Hope you're doing it well as well. All right, for those who did not hear and don't know, James Harden is in the H. James Harden is in the H. He's really here. He is not hanging out in Vegas saying, "Oh yeah, I'm right around the corner." He is in the H. He has taken round one of COVID testing. He has to get 3 negative tests in order to be able to work out with the team. Don't think he's going to be able, I could be wrong. There's a press conference at 12:45 Central. I won't be on it, but I don't think he is going to be able to play in the preseason game this Friday in Chicago at 7. But I don't know. He's James Harden. He's doing what he wants to do. He can do what he wants to do. They might let him play. All I know is that the new head coach, Stephen Silas, said the trust begins to build now. He didn't say rebuild, like he hadn't lost trust in Harden. He's saying now that he's here, they'll begin to build their relationship and the trust. So I can read into that all kinds of ways. I kind of feel like it means I just need him to do whatever he says he's going to do, and we'll be all right. So that's the latest on that. To get a presser at 12:45. Obviously, I won't be able to be on that, but I will definitely be tuned into it and will bring you anything I can real time from that. All right. Okay, and of course, last night the Dallas Cowboys. If y'all know me, y'all know from time to time I'll do a special day on the show. Hey T Barnes, what's going on? I'll do a special day on the show. We in COVID-19, so you can't really hug a Cowboy fan today, but look out for one. Look out for one. I really think most Cowboy fans are over it. I don't think that they thought they were going to rip off, 5, 6 in a row and go 8-8. That wasn't the charge. I just don't know if they thought they were going to be 3-9, though. I just don't know if I think the Cowboy fans thought they were going to be 3-9. And that's where they are after getting beat by Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens 34-17. And they couldn't stop the run to save their lives. They couldn't stop Lamar running the ball. They couldn't stop Dobbins running the ball. And they couldn't stop the other brother. Let me get his name because I said I was going to remember and then I forgot it just like that. Just like that. And I'll say again, Dak Prescott deserves to get every bit of money that he that's Gus Edwards. Gus Edwards. Gus! Isn't Gus an old person's name? You know any young people named Gus? Like, do you know like a 7-year-old named Gus? Like, I know this young man. Gus is how old? Gus Edwards for, let's see, he's 25. Gus feels like your name, you should be 73. With a name like Gus, it feels like you should be 73 and have grandchildren. Not grandchildren, but grandchildren. I mean, what do you call a 7-year-old named Gus? Lil G? Hey, Lil G, how you doing? You all right? How was school? I just don't feel like Gus kicks in until you get like 60. Like, what's your real name, Gus? Okay, I get that. I get that. Hey, El Michelle, do you know anybody under 73 named Gus? Like, Gus is one of those names where Gus. If I looked up the most popular names right now, Gus ain't in the top 10. But if we look at the names 47 years from now, we find out that somebody got slipped in under G and their real name was Gus. Yeah, T-Bar, they got when your name is Gus, you got grandchildren. You don't have grandchildren. They're my grandchildren right there. What'd you say? Grandchildren. Ah. Okay, no, dogs don't count. Dogs don't count, but even dogs are old. Dogs got us by 7, so yeah, I could see a dog named Gus. El Michelle said, yeah, do dogs count? It's just Gus Edwards led the Ravens in rushing last night with 101. Lamar dropped 94 on him and a touchdown. And J.K. Dobbins, the Ohio State University's J.K. See, J.K. is like a name for a young guy. What's your name, J.K.? How old are you, foe? Your name is what, J.K.? What's J.K. stand for, Gus? And then when you get 72, you start using your real name. Oh, there go my boy J.K. Nah, man, that's Gus. Oh, all right. T-Bar said, AJ, we've been in the South too long. Yeah, we didn't. I don't think we grew up with a Gus, did we, T-Barnes? Do you know any Gus's from the park? I don't think we had a Gus. We didn't have a Beulah May. We didn't have a Synovia, Wilhelmina. We didn't have a Jedediah, nothing like that. We didn't have a Gus. Did we? I don't have my yearbooks anymore, so if you remember a Gus, let me know. I don't want to disrespect nobody. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? If anybody knows a young person named Gus, call me. 281-453-1000. Not a young dog, a young person, like a 3-year-old, 5-year-old, somebody under 73 with no grandchildren. If you know a Gus, hit me up. 281-453-1000. 281-453-1000. I might give away the Butterball Turkey gift certificates if you know a Gus under 73. Uh-oh, wait a minute. T-Barn said, well, we might have, we grew up with. T-Bars, you're not going to get me in trouble today. I came in here to be good today. Keith Hennig, do you know anybody named Gus under 70? Keith? Ain't Gus one of those elder names? Like, you got to be an elder before your name can be Gus. You can't just be like a preschooler. You can't be a preschooler named Gus. What grade you in preschool? What's your name, Gus? Like, we're going to call you G. All right, Nikita LaFleur says, I know a Gus, and he's 40. He got grandchildren, don't he? Nikita, he got grandchildren, don't he? Tell the truth. He got him a grandchildren, even though his name is Gus. She said he's 40-something. Nikita called me, 281-453-1000. I got to get into this. I need to find out what's going on with this. Is he listening? If he's listening, tell him to call me. I need to get how long he went by. I bet he changed his name when he hit his 40s. Keith Hennig said Gus. No, not anyone under 98. I'm reading Gus Edwards led the Baltimore Ravens with 101 yards rushing. I feel like he led them into the promised land. Like Gus and Moses led the children of Israel out of captivity into the promised land. Like Gus was in the crowd. It was Moses, it was Aaron, her, and Gus. El Michelle, is he of the lighter shades of skin tone? I just feel like I just feel like Gus is old regardless. I just feel like Gus is like universally old. Like if there's a Hispanic Gus, he's 73. Asian American Gus, he's 92. Like there's no Gus at 6. You give me a 6-year-old Gus, I got something for you. 281-453-1000. It's got to be a real Gus now. I don't need you making up. Oh, yeah, the little kid down the street round the corner in the cul-de-sac, baby. His name Gus. No, I'm not giving you nothing. 281-453-1000. El Michelle, me too. Me too what? All right, we'll be right back right here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK. Segment brought to you by Butterball Turkey right here on the lunch break.
I'm about to have church right by myself. Is that all right?
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's AJ Jones with the lunch break on the legendary KYOK, AM 1140 and 92.3 FM. It's that time of year when we are reminded of all the things we should be thankful for and that it's more blessed to give than to receive. So with that in mind, on Wednesdays from now through Christmas, we'll give you a chance to win a gift certificate from Butterball. That's right, you can win a gift certificate for a Butterball turkey on Wednesdays on the lunch break between 12 and 2. Just be the right caller, and your Butterball turkey will be on us at the legendary KYOK AM 1140 at 92.3.
I am a non-attorney spokesperson representing a team of lawyers who've helped people that have been injured or wronged. Have you been diagnosed with cancer? Are you one of the millions who have taken Zantac or other generic versions of this popular drug to help treat stomach issues? Then pay close attention to this message. The FDA said it detected low levels of a probable cancer-causing chemical known as NDMA in Zantac and other generic forms of this popular drug. They've banned sales and even removed it from the market. If you've been diagnosed with cancer and you've taken Zantac or a generic equivalent, call the legal helpline now. You could receive a free cash award and have your medical expenses covered. And there's no upfront cost
Milo,
to you.
you know somebody named Gus under 70?
Win. So please call now. 800-251-7816. 800-251-7816. 800-251-7816. That's 800-251-7816.
The legendary KYOK, 1140 AM and 92.3 FM. The legend continues.
Lunch break crew. What's up with it?
Like, I can't see Gus bobbing his head to my drops, and my drops are fire. My drops are fire. Like, I can't see Gus. Like, yo, that's that lick right there. Like, nobody has called me. I'm ready to post right now. Does anybody know somebody named Gus under 70? Nikita LaFleur allegedly knows a Gus in his 40s. I think that this Gus in his 40s has grandchildren. I think he got grandchildren. I could be. Nikita, find out. Nikita LaFleur of the Nikita, what's the name of your group? She used to be with a group called the Nikitas or something. She said, want me to tag? Yeah, tag Gus. We got to find out if Gus has grandchildren and how long he went by the name Gus before he just started, I think his name was Lil G until 48. I'm just feeling it. Gus Edwards, he's 25, but I bet Gospel Spirituals. Yeah, I knew it was Nikita LaFleur and the Gospel Spirituals. Please tag Gus, El Michelle says. I'm trying to give something away. Don't nobody know a Gus in their early ages. I need an adolescent Gus. I need a Gus that's like 9. Gus Edwards, I bet you they don't call him Gus. Where did Gus go to school? Let me find this out. I got to dig into this. Brother Jerome, hi Pastor. Oh, okay, I'll check in on that in a minute. Where's Will Gibson? Willie Gibson knows these things. Willie knows these things. All right, Gus Edwards went where? He went to Rutgers. I bet you. It says Rutgers, Todd. Todd said La Tech. He said he went to Rutgers. He's from Brooklyn. I bet you they didn't call him Gus in Brooklyn. I bet they didn't. I bet they did not. All right, so Gus has been tagged. Hopefully we'll get Gus on the show. Nikita, call Gus and say we need him on the lunch break. Tell him we need him on the #1 sports talk show, afternoon, midday in America. Who else is on right now? Because I'm killing them in the ratings. Definitely on the drops. I mean, I'm probably killing them in Arbitron and SoundScan and what's all the different stuff where people sell their, I got a mixtape out and if you buy it, and be sure and log on to SoundScan so I get credit. I'm killing them on SoundScan. And at the local Piggly Wiggly. Like you can go and download my show at the Piggly Wiggly and I get credit. What's that? What's the oldest store you remember that's no longer in existence? Piggly Wiggly. I think mine is Winn-Dixie. Y'all remember Winn-Dixie? Is it still around? Winn-Dixie. It's where we used to shop in New Orleans. Isn't the Gus Fried Chicken? Is it Gus's Fried Chicken? Is that up in Dallas? I think that's up in Dallas, right? Gus's Fried Chicken? That doesn't count. Oldest store that you remember that's no longer in existence. I know here, didn't they have Myers? Wasn't there a store called Myers? I remember seeing these newspaper with it's like one of those shiny papers, and it had all the different things for sale at Myers. Keith Hennig, A&P. I remember A&P. El Michelle, Piggly Wiggly. I knew there was a Piggly Wiggly. I forgot if it was a store or what they did. You get groceries there, right? Winn-Dixie, are they still around? Winn-Dixie? I think we might have a Gus. Hello, you're live on the lunch break. Who's this?
Willie Gibson. How are you?
Man, your voice, bro. I'm trying to tell you. If you ever get up in the morning and you can't find your voice, I got it.
I'm good.
I got it. And once I get it, I'm gonna be somewhere keeping them soft and warm in the quiet storm. I'm not doing sports with your voice.
I digress.
You're so funny. Listen to him. He's like, yeah, bro. All right, bro. Hey, man, what's the oldest store that you can remember that you that is no longer in existence?
Wow. Any store, grocery store?
Grocery store, any store. Keith Hennig said Woolworth. I remember them, too.
Yeah. Gold Circle.
Gold Circle. Good gosh, there was one of those in Springdale, Ohio. You know, over there by Princeton High School. There was a Gold Circle over there somewhere. I remember it well. Wow, that's a good one. Willie, do you know anybody named Gus, not Gus Edwards, under the age of 78?
Under the age of 78.
With no grandchildren?
Gus under 78. No, I don't.
That's what I'm saying. Gus is one of those old names. Gus Edwards. It said he went to Rutgers and he's from Brooklyn. I bet they didn't call him Gus growing up in Brooklyn.
Actually, you know what? He came to Brooklyn from Liberia. He's actually born in Liberia.
He's born in his name is not Gus.
No.
All right, I'm looking it up now. Now you got me looking it up because his name is something else. Hold on. Gus Edwards. I'm teaching today, but somebody say teach, Pastor. Yeah, hold on. Gus Edwards' real name, he's from Liberia. He played in the Liberian American Football League. What in the world is that?
Are you serious?
Well, they say his real name is Gus Edwards. I bet that ain't what that, not birth, but birth certificate say.
Yeah.
All right, early life. Let me see. Played at Tottenville High, three-star recruit, college. Played at the University of Miami and Rutgers. Yeah. Gus he trying to fly underneath the radar. Gus's real name is Alawade or something. He's from Liberia. Yeah. Shillitoes, you remember them, Willie?
No, I'm unfamiliar with that one.
That's Cincinnati. My dad worked at Shillitoes. It was like well, not quite a Macy's. Probably would have been on the same line as J.C. Penney, something like that.
Oh yeah, something like Montgomery Ward.
Yeah. Montgomery Ward is another one that ain't out there no more. Yeah. Willie, you taking us back. So any Gus's that come to mind?
No, not at all. I don't know.
Famous Gus basketball players. Hey, stay right there, Willie. I gotta play a quick break, and I'll come right back to you. Willie Gibson, broadcast journalist from The Ohio State. Right after this, on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK.
I'm Larry Scott, host of the Not So Christian and Me Show. Join me Saturdays for great fun, interviews, music, and the latest news surrounding our world today. We are the show that cares to hear your voice and opinion with real conversation in a no judgment zone. So join me Saturdays from 1 to 2 p.m. on the Not So Christian and Me Show right here on the legendary KYOK Radio, 1140 a.m. and the all-new 92.3 FM and KYOKradio.org.
I'm Mayor Sylvester Turner. We need to be mindful of everyone's health and safety when planning family gatherings. Make a plan and share it with your guests. Get tested at one of the many free testing sites within the city. Wear your mask, wash your hands frequently, and social distance, so you can enjoy your time together with peace of mind. Protecting our loved ones is the most important thing for all of us. Mask up, Houston. We're better together.
Now let's get back to the lunch break with AJ on the legendary KYOK 1140 AM and 92.3 FM.
All right, we're back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK. It's Winning Wednesday. Hey Willie, let me do this, Willie. Let me hit you back. I gotta get Butterball Turkey on here. Got a lot we want to talk about with you if you got a few minutes. about the Big Ten, Ohio State, Michigan, all of that. Can I do that?
Love to, absolutely.
All right, I'll call you back, Willie. Let me get Nicole on from Butterball Turkey. Of course, we're in that season, Nicole Johnson, where folks, whatever issues they had for Thanksgiving, they got another chance to work it out turkey-wise before Christmas. Am I right?
Yeah, absolutely. No, we're certainly here to help answer all your turkey questions. To your point, November, Thanksgiving's definitely our busiest time, but we're starting to get questions on the phone, email, chat, text about the upcoming Christmas holiday as well. So definitely reach out. We're here to help you.
All right, Nicole, I'm going to play question and answer with you. So and this isn't a true story. I'm just going to, so nobody feels embarrassed. So Nicole, for Thanksgiving, I tried to thaw my turkey out on the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, and I ran into a few problems. What should I do to avoid that for Christmas?
Oh, number one question. The talk line's been open for 39 years, and still that's the number one question we get. It actually takes 24 hours for every 4 pounds of turkey meat to thaw in your refrigerator. So if you have a good 20-pound turkey, it's going to take a good 5 days to thaw in the refrigerator. You actually have an additional 4 days after it's fully thawed in which to cook it. So ideally leave the wrapper on the turkey, place it breast side up under a tray in the refrigerator. Give us a call and we'll tell you exactly how many days you need to put it in the refrigerator.
Okay, so kind of as a good standard, if we pull it out on, let's say, December the 18th and put it in the refrigerator, it should be good to go for December the 25th.
Perfect. Yep, you're spot on. That would be ideal.
All right, so here's another question, Nicole. I'm down in the South, and we like Cajun fried turkey, and I thawed it out, but I didn't thaw it out all the way, and it went bad. What should I do to avoid that this Christmas?
Okay, that's another great question, and so that is where some food safety concern would come into play. Deep frying a whole turkey is delicious. We certainly are advocates of it at Butterball Turkey Talk Line. You want to remember it's about 3.5 to 4 minutes per pound. It's a super fast method, but to your point, you want to make sure it is fully thawed. Obviously, that hot oil, if it's not fully thawed, that ice crystal can ignite that oil. So definitely make sure that's fully thawed.
Yeah, you got to be very, very careful with that. And again, we got a lot of folks down here that like to deep fry their turkey, but you got to make sure it is fully thawed.
Agree.
So one more, Nicole, if I don't know how to carve a turkey, I'm going to see my girlfriend's family for the first time. They have bestowed the honor on me of carving a turkey, and I've never done that before. Where can I find some help?
Oh, I love that. So if you're a visual person like myself, visit the butterball.com website. We have a lot of how-to videos on there. They're super current. They're very short in length. They're maybe 30 seconds long, one of which is how to carve your turkey. Just a couple pointers, though. Ideally, after the turkey is done roasting, let it stand for about 15 minutes to allow the juices to settle. That's going to ease with your carving. And obviously make sure you have a really sharpened knife. That sounds like a simple recommendation, but if you just go ahead and get your knife nice and sharp prior to it, again, will ease with the carving.
Yeah, I love that you guys have how-to videos, and like you said, they're not very long. And you've also got recipes and different things to do with the leftover turkey.
Yes, we sure do. So we recognize the fact that there's going to be a lot more smaller gatherings, a lot more first-time cooks, which could lead to more leftovers. So we've increased the number of recipes, the number of ways to use the leftover turkey. Again, that butterball.com website has a lot of delicious recipes. Turkey skillet enchiladas are one of my favorites. I'm not sure if you checked that one out, but I'd recommend. That's my number one recipe recommendation right now.
Wait a minute now. Say it again, because my mouth started salivating. What is it again?
It's turkey skillet enchilada. And what's fun about that recipe, it has a salsa on the side, a cranberry salsa. And it's nice. My husband and I have 4 little butterballs ourselves, and so half the family likes spice, half not so much. So we serve that salsa on the side. But there's a lot of really good recipes on that website. We really improved it.
Yeah, I love that. And then obviously you guys have several different ways where people can reach you. Tell them how they can do that.
Yes. So 1-800-Butterball, giving us a call. That's certainly the heart of the talk line is the phones. I think there's something to be said, right, about that human connection that you experience when you hear someone on the other line. It's kind of funny. A lot of times people they're not expecting, I think, a real person on the other line. They're maybe expecting artificial intelligence, but where there's 50 experts here, we're certainly ready for your phone call. If you'd like to text us, that's a different phone number, 844-877-3456. You can text us your turkey question and even include a picture, and we're going to text you the answer back. Email, chat, of course, we're on social media, and we also have our information on the Alexa skill set, which I think a lot of folks have as well.
Yeah, I end up fighting a lot with Siri, but the Alexa skill set is very nice, and you're right, it's easy to use. I'm also a witness. I text you all one year when I was about to buy way too much turkey for my small gathering, and I sent a picture. I got a response with questions like, how many people are you expecting? How many leftovers do you want to have? That kind of thing. And I ended up heading in the right direction instead of where I was trying to go.
That's good to hear. Yeah, we're certainly open now. We're open the weekend before Christmas and Christmas Eve. We're staffed as well. That's our last day that the talk line will be open for this season. So don't hesitate. Reach out. We're certainly here to help you.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that because you guys were open Thanksgiving Day, but you will not be open Christmas Day.
Christmas Day, no. But, to your point, if you have that Alexa skill set, or again, the butterball.com website, our information is always found in those areas if we're not open.
There you go, 24/7. Nicole Johnson, this is a sports talk show, and I call you all the heavyweight champs of turkey, and I mean that.
Hey, we'll take that.
I got to come up with a belt and send it up to the home office so y'all know y'all ride high down here in Houston.
Oh, we'll take that. Well, we're in Chicago, so we love talking turkey.
Hey, wait a minute, Nicole. Now, we're adversaries this week. My Texans are coming up to play the Bears on Sunday at noon. Who are you rooting for?
Well, of course, I'm a lifer here in Chicago, so of course the Bears.
Nicole, we had our first disagreement. We got crossways for the first
Agree
time.
to disagree.
Hey, Nicole, thanks for everything. Thanks for being a good sport, and thanks for doing all that you all do right there at Butterball. Give them those numbers one more time for me, please.
Yes, please. It's 1-800-Butterball, or you can text us 844-877-3456. Email, chat, social media, and again, that Alexa skill set. Plenty of ways to reach us.
Yeah, y'all are outstanding. Again, the heavyweight champs in Turkey, Nicole Johnson and the good folks over there at Butterball. Hey, have a great weekend, great holiday. We'll talk to you again soon.
Likewise. Thank you.
All righty. Bye-bye. I mean, wow, how about that? We get the young lady from Chicago when the Texans are getting ready to go to Chicago, and I ain't want to tell her, but the Texans are coming home with a win. Deshaun and them coming home with a win. They're not going to let what happened to them against the Colts happen to them against the Bears. So, but I will say this about the Bears. I am a lot more concerned about them when Nick Foles is running the quarterback spot than I am when Mitchell Trubisky is running the quarterback spot. When Mitch Trubisky is running the QB1, I tell the defensive backs, just stick with your man. Just stay on your man. He might run, get a few yards. He ain't going all day. And if he does, he'll pull a Daniel Jones on you. But stick with your man because he's going to throw it somewhere near your man, and you got a chance to pick it off. You got a better chance to pick it off when Mitchell Trubisky is the quarterback than when Nick Foles is the guy. Nick Foles is the guy a little different. Got played a little different. But I expect JJ and the other guys to really have a decent game, troubling the Bears quarterback, whomever it may be. And I expect let's go with 2 picks, especially if it's Trubisky at quarterback. That's what I expect this week. And Anthony Lynn, if it makes you feel better, I'm going to talk about you so I can upset you so that you can coach a better game. He seems to coach better when I call into question his ability to be a defensive coordinator. I got to get him on the show at some point so, he knows it ain't personal. It's just it's in the head. I'm playing mind games with Anthony Lynn to get him to coach better. With Bill O'Brien, he was just, that guy. That guy that thinks he's smarter than everybody else and you can't tell him otherwise. That's Bill O'Brien. You can't get to a guy like that. He's sitting somewhere in a dark room, drinking a Arizona iced tea, probably eating frozen, thawed-out turkey from Thanksgiving, swearing that he was right. Swearing that he was right. Yeah, everything they're doing now is what they should have been doing under me. Oh, yeah, I told y'all that roster wasn't as bad as y'all thought it was. Somewhere right now, Billy O is in a those dark curtains that can black out the sun. He's in a dark curtain room eating a leftover turkey sandwich that he had to thaw out of the fridge and swearing that he's right. Anybody that calls him right now is going to hear, yeah, you need what? You want to borrow my hedge clipper? I still can't believe the Texans fired me. I was right. Look at how they're doing now. That's my team. It's like, yo, bro, I just need your head clippers. That's all I need. Can you leave them out front? It's Rona. Just lay them out front. I'll get them. Yeah, well, if you come in, we're gonna talk about these Texans and how they did me wrong. Like, all right. Never mind. Listen, never mind. I'll get them from somewhere else. I'll just go buy some. Billy O. Goodness gracious. How bad was that? Okay, let me get back to some of these stores that are no longer there. Todd went on a roll. Todd said Foley's, Mervin's, Shillito's. I remember them. Gibson's department store. Now, Keith, you got me with Gibson's. I got one that's not that old, but they're gone. I think as far as store fronts go, but I think you can still order stuff online. Kmart, remember them? Kmart. Didn't they have these blue light specials where you can get extra savings? You're in the store and, ladies and gentlemen, right now the blue light special is on a signed autographed picture of Bill O'Brien with the Texans. Now, those are hard to come by. Please report to aisle 14 for the blue light special. Yeah. El Michelle, girlfriend's fan. El, that was just role play. That wasn't real. That wasn't real. Child, please, don't nobody want me. El, I've been married 60 times, and ex-wife number 58 is trying to get an increase on support. So, yeah, no, I ain't going to the girlfriend's fan. That was role play. Like, that was straight role play, El. I can't get, you guys take me serious. This is for entertainment purposes only. I need a label. You know how when the rappers came out and they said bad words on their thing, it's had the label on explicit lyrics, parental guidance suggested. I need to put on my CD, my mixtape, for entertainment purposes only, role play. I'll put my name in it so I don't offend somebody else. But nah, I ain't going to no girlfriend's parents' house. Please. It's Rona out there. All right. Keith Hennig said Smart was awesome. Smart what? Terrell Rollins says Joski's. Okay. Woolworth and Montgomery Ward. Montgomery Ward was another one that had those where you can look on the newspaper and see all their sales and the specials and all of that. Yeah. Remember the J.C. Penney catalog? All I remember is me and my sister circling what we wanted for Christmas and giving that to our mom. Like, we circled the whole book, and we never got anything from the book. It's like, where'd this come from? I didn't circle that. Here, I think this is yours. I'd throw it over to my sister. T. Barnes said, I'm being extra today. I mean, El Michelle thought I was going to some random woman's house for Thanksgiving and I was carving the turkey. I was just trying to do an interview, trying to make my ends. El Michelle trying to mess up my coins. So anyway, Big Time Floyd had a sports related statement. Let's get to that. Hey, Kimberly Negrete. CJ said the Bears. Yeah, the Bears are not going to beat the Texans. You stop that. All right, Big Time Floyd said, hello, AJ and the Breakers. How does Mike McCarthy explain the Cowboys being so ill-prepared for their games on a weekly basis? Jerry Jones has to address the defense via the draft and free agency. Firing defensive coordinator Mike Nolan is imperative in order to have any chances of winning games. No one exempt from trading, including Zeke. Y'all, I'm telling y'all giving Zeke a bad name. Zeke needs to roll up on y'all like Birdman did on the Breakfast Club that time when he rolled into the studio and he said, y'all gonna put some respect on my name. Put some respect on my name. And then what do you ask him? Are we finished or are we done? Y'all need to leave Zeke alone. Zeke is not the problem, nor, let me say it out loud for everybody in the back who can't hear me, Dak Prescott was not your problem. Pay Dak, keep Zeke, fix the offensive line, fix the secondary, and you'll be all right. Y'all got all the right pieces in the wrong places for right now. I mean, your receiving core is one of the best in the game. You got to have a quarterback who can throw the ball to those wonderful receivers, and you need an offensive line that can give him time to get the ball downfield. Look at what Dak did when he was able to stay healthy. He was outscoring the bad problems on the defense, and he was mobile enough to survive the bad play of the offensive line. That's why the Texan fan base, y'all get no sympathy from me. Deshaun Watson deserves a medal. Deshaun Watson deserves the keys to every city in the state of Texas. That dude has been making it with the dumbest head coach in the world, the dumbest offensive coordinator in the world, 4 parked cars for an offensive line, and literally no running game except for when they had, serviceable running backs. Oh, yeah, and with DeAndre Hopkins, and that was it. And what did they come up with a great idea to do? Hey, let's trade the best wide receiver. That'll make us better. Dak Prescott, Deshaun Watson should be Texas royalty. They should never pay for a meal in this state. They should go to Dak's bedside. Well, he's walking now. They should chase Dak down while he's walking with his surgically repaired leg and pay him, throwing money at him. Telling me Andy Dalton can get the job done. Please. Time out for this bougie fanness, man. Dak is not the problem. Dak is the answer. All right, let me play a commercial. I'll be right back right after this on the lunch break. Segment brought to you by the Care Team. You need health insurance? This group right here can help you.
Now is a great time to replace your worn-out windows during the Renewal by Andersen 25-year savings event. Upgrade your home today. Buy 4 windows and get the 5th one free. Plus, get 12 months with no interest, no money down, and no payments. Call now. Get 4 windows and get the 5th one free. Installation and warranty included. Renewal by Andersen takes every CDC-recommended safety precaution to protect your family. For 25 years, people have trusted us for their window replacement needs, and you can too. Call now to learn about our buy 4, get the 5th one free window replacement offer.
800-330-1685. 800-330-1685. 800-330-1685. That's 800-330-1685.
Interest accrues from date of purchase, but is waived if paid in full within 12 months. Other conditions apply. We've adjusted our operations to serve you safely following all CDC guidelines. Visit renewalbyandersen.com for details.
Hello, my name is Margaret, and I'm not a paid actor. I'm simply a very satisfied customer that has received good advice from the Care Team Insurance. Without the help from the Care Team, we would not have had health insurance. The Care Team has saved my daughter's life.
This is one of the many great results of Care Team's efforts. Don't get caught with bad or no insurance at all. Let Care Team assist you with our free enrollment assistance program. Call now, 281-990-1377. There are over 13 million people without medical insurance that should qualify for plans starting at $0 to $50 per month. Care Team has helped thousands of people just like you. This is AJ Jones, and KYOK listeners, I want you to call now and see what you qualify for at 281-990-1377. That's 281-990-1377, or visit careteamcares.com. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's AJ Jones with the lunch break on the legendary KYOK AM 1140 and 92.3 FM. It's that time of year when we are reminded of all the things we should be thankful for, and that it's more blessed to give than to receive. So with that in mind, on Wednesdays from now through Christmas, we'll give you a chance to win a gift certificate from Butterball. That's right, you can win a gift certificate for a Butterball turkey on Wednesdays on the lunch break between 12 and 2. Just be the right caller, and your Butterball turkey will be on us at the legendary KYOK AM 1140 at 92.3.
You're listening to 1140 AM and 92.3 FM, the legendary KYOK.
The lunch break, where sports are the special of the day on the legendary KYOK.
I mean, I got trap music, I got club music, I got house music. I just need a gospel drop. I need you're listening to the lunch break, Lord, on the legendary KYOK. That's what I need next. L, get back in the lab for me, sis. Get back in the lab for me and give me a good old-fashioned take me to church gospel drop. That's all I need, and then we gone in. I'll take up an offering. We'll invite somebody to come. Is there one? Close out the show, getting them saved. Yeah, that's what I need. T. Barnes says she's got to go. Peace and love, soul. Have a great evening, lunch break crew. All right, real quick, let me finish this up because Cowboy fans done flooded my message timeline. If you ever want to call in, though, y'all do real good texting. But if y'all ever want to call in and talk about your Cowboys, I'm going to give you this number, 281-453-1000. That's 281-453-1000. Cowboy fans, I'm not trying to call y'all out. I'm not. I get it. I understand your pain. It's just like when I kept trying to tell the Texan fans, I understood their pain and they thought I was a hater. I'm not a hater. I don't like your owner. I think he is brilliant. I think he is a wonderful marketer. I mean, there are not many that market better than Jerry Jones and family. But when it comes to football decisions and X's and O's and personnel decisions, that's not his strong suit. I get what he's saying when he says, hey, I'm the one that's got to sign the check anyway, so I ought to be the one to make the decision. I understand that, but then you get what you get. You're not a football guy. I don't care how long you've been around the game. You're not a football guy. So you got what you got. And Cowboy fans are suffering that. That's why he got Mike McCarthy as a head coach, and Mike McCarthy is not a good NFL head coach anymore. I'm sorry. The facts speak for themselves. Is Jerry going to fire McCarthy after the first season? Probably not, but he needs to. He definitely needs to get rid of the defensive coordinator, and he needs to fire himself as the general manager. And we know that's not going to happen. And you know what? I might owe Kellen Moore an apology. Kellen Moore's offense this year under Dak was amazing. Kellen Moore's offense under with Andy Dalton running it, a little different. Hello, you're live on the lunch break. Who's this?
This is Dominica.
Hey, how are you?
How they doing? How they doing? Fine.
Wait a minute, man. Y'all, this is one of my long time listeners, friends. Dominica, it is so good to hear your voice. How have you been?
How they doing? Fine.
How is everybody doing over at the church? I've been praying for you all.
Yeah. And I want to say thank you, and thank you very much. And get all the prayers and just keep your faith. And God said, I want to be encouraged for you. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Dominica, tell everyone that I said hello and thank you so much for being a longtime fan, listener, friend, all of that. I appreciate you, okay?
Okay.
All right. God bless you, Dominica.
God bless you.
Let me tell you something. I joined the KWWJ family back in 2002. And I can remember Dominica calling in from way back then. And she loves the Lord. She's a phenomenal young lady, very faithful to her church. And they just lost their pastor and Bishop Richard Holman. My prayers go out to Prophetess Lady Louise Holman and the entire Ministers for Christ family. But man, it's listeners like that that just make it all worthwhile. I do. I love you, Dominica. And thank you for calling me over here at KYOK. I got to say thank you to Rosie Reed as well. Like I said, I joined the KWWJ, KYOK, broadcast family back in 2002. And every year for our birthdays, every radio announcer gets a birthday card from Rosie Reed in Cold Springs, Texas. And she always puts some love in there. And it's always love in there. And it's just like, man, and she never misses. Like, I have never not gotten one since 2002, somewhere around in there. So, Dominica, Rosie Reed, bless you. Bless you both. Bless you both. And I know there's plenty of others. And some that have gone on, are no longer with us. But man, the Mother Luke's out there, and I don't even want to start calling names because I'm gonna forget good people. But Dominica, thank you. You've made my whole day. I thought that was a Cowboy fan, Gray, calling fuss at me. But that was a good call, y'all. There's certain people that have always been there for you, man. Always been there for you. So that made my day. Thank you. All right. Let's see. Doggone it, Willie. I should have called you beforehand. Willie, if you're listening, call me back. Cowboy fans, I'm not fussing at y'all. I'm just saying. Dak wasn't the problem. You see that now. And if you don't see that, then you don't want to see that. Ezekiel Elliott is not the problem. And I know folks think that, he's getting paid way too much. Ezekiel Elliott can do things that other running backs can't do. Certain running backs, the defensive coordinator does not scheme for your team's running back. Ezekiel Elliott, they put a plan in place for him. Hello, you're live on the lunch break. Who's this?
Willie Gibson.
Yeah, Willie. I mean, help me with this, man. Why is Ezekiel Elliott on the chopping block all of a sudden?
You know what? Right now, he makes the most money. And they figure, again, we talked about this before and you just said it. That offensive line is in shambles. That quarterback, no disrespect, nobody is fearful of what Andy Dalton can do as a quarterback. So what do? You key on the best player, and that's neat. And that's why it appears he looks bad. But you see, when they gave him the ball last night, when he was able to get the ball, he was able to do something, but he can't do it with 4 backup offensive linemen and a backup quarterback.
Yeah, no, that's asking a lot. And that's why when Tony Pollard gets a shot, it's not because Tony Pollard is better. It's that, okay, Pollard's in there now. Let's keep an eye on this. Let's double up on that. Let's, put a safety over the top. They don't do the same thing when Tony Pollard is in there that they do when Ezekiel Elliott is in there.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm not saying I'm an expert in the game, but I know the offensive side of the ball. I know that. I know that. And I know how defensive coordinators scheme against certain styles of offense and even more so certain players. Ain't nobody scheming for Andy Dalton. Ain't nobody scheming for Tony Pollard. But I bet you this, they're scheming for Amari Cooper. They're scheming for CeeDee Lamb. They're scheming for Gallup. They're scheming for, for the rest of those wide receivers. I know that.
Oh, without question. Without question. So, I mean, again, he is clearly not the problem in Dallas.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm like this, one and done on Mike McCarthy. Hey, we tried it, it didn't work. So good. God bless you, man. Good luck to you.
I don't know that Jerry's there yet. I'm quite sure he'll make him make changes on that staff, i.e., Mike Nolan, defensive coordinator. But I don't think Jerry's there to cut bait, if you will, after 1 year.
Yeah, no, I think you got to. I think this year under that regime killed morale and players are looking at each other sideways and everything. I don't think they always talk about guys being, cancers in the locker room. That kind of coaching, those kind of results, that's a cancer in the locker room right there.
Duly noted and well said. With Jerry.
Yeah. Let's jump over to the Big Ten real quick. Michigan canceled the Ohio State game. The athletic director for Michigan, though, then went to bat for Ohio State, saying that the Big Ten should alter the rules so that Ohio State could play in the Big Ten championship game. What are you hearing?
They just did. Vote was within the hour, and the Big Ten has voted to waive the 6-game minimum requirement for qualifying for the Big Ten championship. So next Saturday in Indianapolis will be Ohio State versus Northwestern for the Big Ten Conference Championship.
Okay. All right. Do you like the decision? Did you think it was, shouldn't have happened? What do you think?
I do. And not just because it's Ohio State. I mean, to put those parameters on when you're dealing with something as precarious as a global pandemic, it was a great unknown. In hindsight, could have been done differently from the beginning? Sure, absolutely. But to put that 6-game minimum when the schedule called for 8 games to place a minimum of 6 in August, I don't, horrible foresight. And you had to make a change because even if Ohio State was able to get a game this week, and this was a huge determining factor in the decision, if Ohio State was to get a game this week, win or lose, they still would win the tiebreaker over Indiana and win the Big Ten East and be able to go to the Big Ten championship game for the 6th game, win or lose. So it really made no sense to force them to find a game or to rearrange the Big Ten schedule for them to get a 6th game.
Yeah. I got you. Willie, stay right there. Let me get Sybil Wilkes on real quick, and then we'll come back and chat for a minute. Because I want to talk about the dynamics of Michigan being the one to cancel that game. And I'm sorry, I was talking into a dead mic. Let me take a quick break, Willie, get Sybil Wilkes on, and then we'll come back and talk about the dynamics of Michigan being the one to cancel that game and the fallout from that. We'll do that next right here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. Here's Sybil Wilkes.
It's Sybil Wilkes with what you need to know today. A meeting is on tap today between African American civil rights leaders and the Biden administration, as many want a more representative administration. NAACP President Derek Johnson is calling on the president-elect to keep civil rights top of mind when making appointments and policy decisions. Attorney General William Barr may be calling it quits just weeks before Inauguration Day. As Republican lawmakers hold out hope that the election will be overturned, Barr sees the writing on the wall and may be preparing for life outside of this White House. The CDC has revised its estimates for the death toll that the pandemic is taking on Black and Brown communities. After the adjustment for age, Black Americans are shown to die at a rate of almost 3 times that of white Americans. What You Need to Know is brought to you by Black Voters Matter. Join the movement and visit blackvotersmatterfund.org for more information. I'm Sybil Wilkes. Be informed, be empowered.
Once again, this segment is brought to you by the CARE team. If you don't have medical insurance, call 281-990-1377. That's 281-990-1377.
The legendary 1140 AM KYOK Conroe and 92.3 FM K222CX Houston.
The views and opinions expressed on all radio shows broadcast on KYOK are entirely those of the host, guests, and callers who are entirely responsible for all show content and do not in any way reflect the opinions of KYOK Radio, its sponsors, staff, or management.
All right, y'all, we're back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. First hour on the books, second hour underway here on the legendary KYOK. Back on the phone with me, Willie Gibson. David Grubb should be joining us any minute. Willie, what's the fallout going to be from Michigan being the one to cancel the game? Now, I know nobody from Ohio State that matters has gone full, what you got over there at Clemson, Dabo Sweeney, like Dabo went in on Florida State for canceling a game. But I still feel like there's going to be some unspoken energy on that game whenever they play it again.
Oh, that's always. That game, it's your rival. So Ohio State prepares for that game each and every day throughout the year. So it may just add a log or two to the bonfire. But and then that game is always going to have bad intention when it's played, and it adds to it somewhat, but nothing. We've heard reports up to 45 players were affected, not infected with the COVID-19 virus, but between contact tracing and those who have tested positive, we've heard the number as high as 45. Now, interestingly enough, there was a Zoom call yesterday with Michigan Athletic Director Ward Manuel, Jim Harbaugh, and their medical director, and I was part of that call. And when the question was asked of the athletic director, can you disclose the number of positives that you had to make the decision to cancel the game? Inexplicably, the feed was cut. I won't cast aspersions on anyone. That's just exactly what happened. When the question was asked, we began to answer the question of how many positives they had to make them to bring the determination to cancel the game. The feed was cut, and it never came back.
Wow. Oh boy, that's interesting. Having been an AV guy in a previous life for another industry, yeah, that's pretty interesting. Sound man was just having problems. That's all.
At that moment.
Yeah, it's always at the worst moment possible. It's never at a nondescript, no big deal moment. It's right when, and the winner is, and the sound goes out, and you got to figure out who won. So it never fails.
Understood.
Yeah. Willie Gibson joining us, broadcast journalist from Columbus, Ohio, covers the Big Ten, the Ohio State Buckeyes, and the Cleveland Browns. Got a win last night from Baltimore to put them back in the hunt, but 2 games over Baltimore are the Browns. What's up with them? They gonna look like they did last Sunday, or they gonna look like they did the Sunday before that?
Yeah, I think I agree. And with Baltimore coming into Cleveland for a Monday night, this is the last quarter, the fourth quarter. Everyone's throwing their fours up. The fourth quarter of the season, and it's winning time. This team hasn't been in this position in quite some time. So, again, the culture is different. Kevin Stefanski and the staff, Andrew Berry and the front office have totally revamped this culture, and it's to the point where they're 9-3. They haven't had a victory Monday yet this season. When most teams went on Sunday, NFL teams are typically off on Tuesday. They give them a victory Monday, so you come back in on Wednesday. The Browns haven't had a victory Monday all season long, so he keeps that carrot in front of them, if you will, to continue. We just go to work. We just go to work. And I think that mentality is. I know that mentality is permeated throughout the roster and the team, and they're just going in like next man up. Baltimore on Monday night. The Giants in week 15 was just flexed out. Now that's a Sunday night football game, so back-to-back primetime games for the Browns. And they don't want to go out there and basically give the critics fodder. They told you so. They're not for real. So I think they're going to do some things.
I got to be honest with you. I could be wrong, but I feel like Baltimore is going to try to come out there and stomp them. I mean, not saying they will, but I feel like Baltimore is not trying to win by a point or a field goal or whatever. I feel like Baltimore is going to have some energy on this one, unlike probably any other, because it's Cleveland and Baltimore, and Baltimore's feeling like they shouldn't be battling with Cleveland for nothing.
Well, feeling like you should, they are. They're in third place in the AFC North. So, I mean, they could feel that way. That's fine. But they still got to come out Monday night and make it happen.
Yeah.
And they won't.
And then it's on national TV, man. I just feel like it's a recipe for Baker Mayfield to – he's either going to play extremely well or he's going to play extremely poor. There won't be any – he won't manage the game. I just don't think he will.
Oh, no. I mean, well, I'll say this. Baker, he knows now it's no longer sink or swim based on his performance. Kevin Stefanski has made that abundantly clear to him. We don't need you to go out there and win the game for us. We need you to stay within the confines of the offense and the game plan. So, you can call that managing the game, perhaps, but, he plays within himself.
Okay.
Not with the mindset of, I have to go out there and do everything.
Okay. All right. Willie Gibson, David Grubb just joined us from Louisiana, host of Hard in the Paint and writer for CrescentCitySports.com. Of course, Willie Gibson on the phone, writer and broadcast journalist up in Columbus, Ohio, covering the Big Ten, the Buckeyes, as well as the Cleveland Browns. David, we're just talking about this matchup with Cleveland and Baltimore coming up on Monday night. Cleveland 9-3 though, man. That it don't even feel right for me to say that. This is their first winning season in how long?
First winning season since 2007.
I might have had hair back in 2007. There was some department stores and grocery stores that were still around in 2007 that are gone now. Willie got quiet. Willie, it's just the truth, man. I ain't throwing shade.
Oh, no.
I was going to say, you could go get meat over at Winn-Dixie back in 2007. I don't think you can do that now. David, do they still have Winn-Dixies in Louisiana?
Winn-Dixie? Yeah. Do we? No, we ain't got no more Winn-Dixies. No, they gone.
Yeah, I used to shop Winn-Dixie when I was in college.
No, we got Winn-Dixies. What am I talking about? Yeah, we got one. We got a man in Baton Rouge. What am I talking about? We got Winn-Dixie.
Okay. No Piggly Wigglies, though. None of that.
I remember Piggly Wiggly back in the day.
Yeah.
But the Browns, that's just it's the organization. Look, there are only three organizations that ain't made a Super Bowl: the Browns, the Lions, and the Jaguars. There's a reason. Neither one of those teams has had success in developing a full roster. And at any time they've had good offenses, they've had good defenses. But both of them, outside the Jaguars, we've actually made it to a couple of AFC Championship games. The Browns and the Lions, they're perpetually just always rebuilding, it seems like. If for Cleveland to be 9-3, what else could you ask for at this point? You are doing what people expected prior to the season, that this team would be a team that competed for a division championship and secured a playoff spot. So that's where they are at this point. And like you said, Baker Mayfield was the biggest problem that they had, and they've curtailed that problem. Is he ever going to be the reason for their success? I don't know. But right now, it's just don't be the reason they fail.
Yeah, he played his behind off Sunday, though. I'm going to give him that. He played his behind off on Sunday. And again, and Willie, I know you want me to chill out on this. You don't need to be running down the field like the band director. You finally playing well. Y'all winning. You about to be 9-3. Flow with it, bro. Don't try to make it do something that it don't need to do. That's just me. Willie, go ahead and correct me. Come on, be my good angel.
Yeah, because I mean that's you not knowing. That's no disrespect. I mean that's who he is. I mean he's a fiery guy. So all the other stuff he's saying and things like that, yeah, that catch me tail. But him showing emotion on the field rather than celebrating with his teammates. So if he runs to the sideline after throwing the touchdown pass, he's criticized for not being the deep guy. So he runs and celebrates with Hollywood Higgins up the touchdown pass, he's criticized for that. I mean, he celebrated with his guys. But so what I will say is this: I said the last winning season for the Browns was 2007. For your Houston listeners, the head coach of the Browns in 2007 was Romeo Crennel. So that's the last time before this year they had a winning season.
You already know I like that. You already know I like that. You know I like that. You win with black head coaches. Let me stop. I'm stopped. Let me stop. I got my Malcolm X shirt on today, so I'm a little rough around the edges. Y'all bear with me. Bear with me. But anyway, Willie, I appreciate you as always, bro. You are always the go-to guy. Keep us up on what's happening up there, and we'll see how things go. That's gonna be a real big game Monday night. Who you got Monday night? What do you believe is gonna happen Monday night, Willie?
You know what? I think this is the season that they played week 1. It was 38-6 Baltimore, and he's coming in new head coach, no offseason, no training camp. I think Cleveland is, and I'm not saying they're gonna blow them out, but I think Cleveland wins the game.
You got Cleveland winning?
I do. I know Baltimore has 6 players still on the COVID-19 list. There's a lot of times been out on Monday. Those guys could come off, but I do. I think that Cleveland is going to do some things, and they'll win. They'll go 10-3 on Monday night.
All right, Willie, you know what I like, right? I got it in my hand. You know what I like, right?
Let me check my account real quick. I have some,
Yeah, you got leftover in there. You got leftover there because you won the last couple. So just like my Cash App sends you money, it receives money too.
I'm not familiar.
I'm not mad at you because you're right. You haven't had to use it lately. But Willie Gibson, man, appreciate you as always, Will. Take care, brother. And keep us posted on when the podcast is going to come out. You got brothers over here that's rooting for you, all right?
Hey, I appreciate you both.
All right, man. Willie Gibson, y'all. Great dude. Great broadcast journalist up in Columbus, Ohio. I rocks with him, man. That's a good brother, man. Good brother. Good family man as well. David, so I had to deal with the Cowboy fans a little bit. And not Big Time Floyd, because Big Time Floyd a lot of times is the voice for a lot of Cowboy fans. I don't know why Ezekiel Elliott is all of a sudden on the chopping block. It's just like they didn't appreciate Dak when they had him. Now they see that Dak was more valuable than they thought because can't anybody just get in there and do it. Andy Dalton is a good backup, period, point blank, end of discussion. Pay Dak his money. But why is Ezekiel Elliott on the chopping block when your line is trash all of a sudden? You got one of the best receiving cores in the game. Your defense needs a lot of work after that front 5, front 7. So what am I missing?
You're missing that everybody loves a scapegoat. And that's what it always comes down to is find one guy. And if we change that, that'll fix everything. And they'll put it on Zeke's back, they'll put it on Dak's back, or whomever, and say that this is the reason the season was sabotaged or submarine. But it never goes back to the front office. It never goes back to the hiring of Mike McCarthy as the head coach. It doesn't go back to what Dallas has been defensively, over the last few years as well. They didn't replace key guys on that defense as they got older or got injured. So, it's easy to blame the guy who got paid. And that's where it always goes to, is blame the guy who got paid. Zeke ain't been talking. It's not like he's been running his mouth. So why are you putting it on him? He hasn't been claiming anything to make it like he's pushing anybody else under the bus. Right. So why would anybody allow that to happen to him? Why would fans do that to him when those are the same fans who said if you don't pay that man, the offense isn't going to work, that this offense was built around Ezekiel Elliott. That's why you went up in the first round and drafted a running back of his caliber, was because you were going to build around him. So now all of a sudden, for whatever reason in this season, and I think part of it is due, I can't say how much because I'm not around him, but I think part of it was due to him getting COVID, is that he has not been right since that. But part of it is he's having a down year. Okay. But what have you seen in his career to indicate that this would be normal? This is abnormal. If this goes on for another season or something, then you can start talking about maybe he's lost it or whatever. But this is an abnormal year, and he's doing abnormal things. So why not take it as an aberration? It's about the money. That's what this is about. They hate the dude that got paid.
Yeah. It's funny that you said that about the COVID thing. I've kind of been keeping an eye on guys that have come back from COVID. Not all of them are 100% or playing like they're 100%. They all look like half step slow, a little bit, foggy, what have you. And that's Cam. That's Ezekiel. Some of the other guys, man, it just looks like they're not quite there. Des Bryant, once again, just like with the New Orleans thing, before he takes the field, something happens and he cannot play. He tested positive for COVID right before the game, could not play in his comeback game. And I feel for the brother. Do me a favor, stay right there. Let me do a quick break. We'll come back. David Grubb, host of Hard in the Paint, writer for CrescentCitySports.com, joining us right here on the lunch break. We'll be right back.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's AJ Jones with the lunch break on the legendary KYOK AM 1140 and 92.3. It's that time of year where we are reminded of all the things.
I was replaying something.
So with that in mind, on Wednesdays from now through Christmas, we'll give you a chance to win a gift certificate from Butterball. That's right, you can win a gift certificate for a Butterball turkey on Wednesdays on the lunch break between 12 and 2. Just be the right caller, and your Butterball turkey will be on top.
Putting bids together, all kinds of
92.3.
I am a non-attorney spokesperson representing a team of lawyers who've helped people that have been wrong. Have you been diagnosed with cancer? Are you one of them? Zantac or other generic versions?
I got to leave here in about 3 o'clock. Get down there and do Tulane game. They're playing Southern Miss tonight.
Levels of a probable cancer-causing chemical known as NDMA in Zantac and other generic
what they look like against Southern Miss.
We'll see. They play tonight, and we'll see. I think Southern Miss is real young, just like Tulane. 9 first-year guys on that Southern Miss team. They struggled. They've only played 2 games so far, and they struggled in both of them. The second one was against NAIA school, and they didn't do all that well. So their coach is honest. He's like, we can't shoot. We can't shoot really. So I think Tulane's going to beat Southern Miss, but you never know with basketball.
That's 800-251-7816.
That's why they play them.
7816.
The legendary KYOK 1140 AM and 92.3 FM. The legend continues.
The lunch break, where sports are the special of the day on the legendary KYOK.
All right, y'all. We are back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and Winning Wednesday. David Grubb joining me from Louisiana. And so, David, I'm in agreement with you, though. It just feels like, folks say Zeke is making all that money. This guy, they're coming for Deshaun Watson now, after the fumbled snap. Oh, he's making all that money. Listen, without them, you're not even in that situation. I'm sorry. Defensive coordinators don't scheme for Tony Pollard. They scheme for Ezekiel Elliott. They scheme for Dak Prescott. They scheme for those wide receivers. They don't scheme for the tight end. They might say, you check the tight end coming out, off the line, but they don't put defensive packages in for guys like that. And that defense is crazy. That defense is ridiculous. And when you got a good quarterback, good running back, those good wide receivers, sometimes you can outscore how bad that defense is. And Mike McCarthy was a mistake. And oh yeah, by the way, I'll keep saying it. Jerry Jones needs to fire Jerry Jones as a general manager. I don't care how long you've been around the game. You are not a football guy. You don't know the eye test. You don't know the analytics and all that. You just don't know it. You don't have it. Just because you studied it don't mean it's innate for you. So you're always going to get out of the Cowboys what you get. Mediocrity. That's what they've been.
For 30 years. It's going on almost 30 now. So It's organizational. That's what losing organization. This is why I tell people all the time that salary caps and drafts don't matter. Because people always talk about saving drafts and saving salary cap, and these things are important to make sure that teams are competitive. Dallas has all the competitive advantages you could ask for. They got more money than they know what to do with. They have the brand. They have the location. They have what could you possibly not have if you're the Dallas Cowboys? And yet for 30 years, you have failed to appear in an NFC Championship game. Not let alone a Super Bowl. You can't get to a championship game. You got what, 2 playoff wins since the last Super Bowl? 2 playoff wins in that time? So to me, it's like that's bad organizations produce bad results. It doesn't matter how much money you give them, how many draft picks you give them, what you do. If you have a bad organization, you're going to end up with a bad team. And the Cowboys are a bad organization. You can't, in any business, in my business, I have to know when I have to step back because you're too close to it.
Right.
You love it too much. You think about it too much. You are emotional with it. And you have to have people around you who are just there to do their jobs, who don't love the Cowboys. That ain't their job. Their job is to do a great job.
Yeah.
I'm here to love the Cowboys. I'm here to do the best job possible. Jerry Jones is there because he loves the Dallas Cowboys. And when you do that, you can be blinded by things. I want this. It's what Al Davis went through during the end of his career. I'm blinded by the things that I loved when I was young. The same rules that applied when Al Davis was a genius. He didn't stop being a genius, but you're no longer seeing things the same way. You're too deep.
Right.
And I think that, and Jerry Jones has nowhere near the football genius that Al Davis had. So to not rely on people whose job it is to solely do those things, when as an owner, you have so many things you have to oversee and so many people that have to report. To be an owner and a general manager is impossible in any sport. And then you're going to do it in football where you have the largest rosters, the most complicated things, the most likelihood of failure for your and the shortest careers for your play. No, it makes no sense. And Dallas is going to continue to be in this position for years to come. For years to come. It's not going to end next year. It's not going to end the year after that. They are in a Daniel Snyder situation.
Mm-hmm. They really are. And Jerry Jones apologists don't want to hear that because it's almost insulting. What Jerry is as a marketer, he is not as a general manager and a football guy. He is closer to Daniel Snyder as a football guy than he is Al Davis. And it's just the truth. As a marketer, he's one of the best to ever do it because he'll make a 3-9 team feel relevant, a 6-11 team feel relevant, but a 6-10 team. But as a football guy, Daniel Snyder.
And the two people relying on brands that were created before they were
right.
They're gatekeepers of a brand that was bigger than either one of them.
Right.
The Cowboys were big before Jerry Jones got to Dallas.
Absolutely.
America's team that started decades before he
right.
The team.
Yeah.
So you've been given this gift, and you got it at the time when the sports world exploded financially, and you got to capitalize on that right at the beginning when the '90s, when the Cowboys got hot, was right when TV money started exploding, when the NFL went to Fox and took all that money with it, when ESPN really started put. That's why he's doing so. It's not a genius, you know what I'm saying? It's not even a marketing genius. You've been given the gift. If I give you the Los Angeles Lakers, right? The same thing. If I give you the Lakers, if you make money with the Lakers, you're not a genius. You have the brand already. You've been given the gift. You've been given the kingdom. Same with the Steinbrenners in New York. They took over for their daddy and won nothing. It doesn't matter. You got the starter kit. You were born on third base, and you talking about you hit a home run because you scored a run. No,
the starter kit. David, stay there. Let's take a real quick break. I'll be right back. That's good, bro. That's good talk. We'll be right back with more right after this on the lunch break and the legendary KYOK.
KYOK 1140 AM. The legendary KYOK 92.3 FM. 2 radio stations in one.
I'm Larry Scott, host of the Not So Christian and Me Show. Join me Saturdays for great fun.
Jerry Jones Rich is the worst thing for being a good owner.
We are the show that cares to hear your voice.
That's listening to people is great.
That's real though.
So join me Saturdays.
You born on third base and you swear you hit a home run.
Christian and Me Show, right here on the legendary KYOK Radio, 1140 AM, and the all-new 92.3 FM and KYOKradio.org.
I'm Mayor Sylvester Turner. We need to be mindful of everyone's health and safety when planning family gatherings. Make a plan and share it with your guests. Get tested at one of the many free testing sites within the city. Wear your mask, wash your hands frequently, and social distance so you can enjoy your time together with peace of mind. Protecting our loved ones is the most important thing for all of us. Mask up, Houston. We're better together.
Now let's get back to the lunch break with AJ on the legendary KYOK 1140 AM and 92.3 FM.
All right, y'all, we are back at it right here on the lunch break and the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. It is Winning Wednesday. I got to give you the final results of this week, Week 13's weekly Keeping Up with the Joneses Pick'em Challenge. Man, we only had 8 people be over 500 this week. Tough week for some folks. And it came down to another 3-way tie, so I'll do that before we go. Talking about franchises, Pittsburgh Steelers suffered their first loss, stumbled against Washington. Washington's defense is legit, and I gotta say, Alex Davis is Alex Davising. You know, he's just managing the game, ain't making major mistakes.
Alex Smith, you mean?
Alex Smith, yeah, I'm thinking somebody else. Alex Smith is doing his thing. He's a game manager. He ain't trying to do too much. He ain't trying to win it with his arms. You know, he found an open receiver, and there you go. He put the ball on him, touchdown, and they go from there. But the Steelers have got just a tough road, and I appreciate Mike Tomlin for not using that as an excuse. Playing another game 5 days after they just played, after having an extended break, and then they got to play again 6 days later. And, oh, yeah, by the way, they got Buffalo. What are your thoughts about the Steelers? Where do they go from here? People are ready to write their eulogy. I just think it's a little soon for a team that's got one loss.
No, I'm not writing their eulogy. I think they're probably the third best team in the NFL right now, behind Kansas City and New Orleans.
Okay.
I think the issue for the Steelers, so that was very weird. And teams, like we talked about this all season, there's very little separation in the NFL this year.
Yeah, I agree.
And the Steelers, we're not going to look at this Steelers team and think of it, whoever wins the Super Bowl this year, whoever, we're not going to look at any one of those teams as an all-time great team. There's not a historically dominant offensive or defensive team playing this season. Not one. There are some very good teams that all have flaws. The Saints have flaws, Chiefs have flaws, Steelers have flaws, Packers have flaws. Any team that you want to talk about at the top, Ravens got flaws, Browns got flaws, Bills got flaws. But if I'm the Steelers, you're still where you want to be. Like the key for you, if you're Pittsburgh, is get home field. You don't want to go to Kansas City.
Right.
That you don't want. So if you're Pittsburgh, like if I'm Mike Tomlin, why would I be panicking? Why? What good does that? What signal does that send to my team? They know what they had to deal with. Mike Tomlin, the whole point, the reason that the guy has been there all that time and never had a losing record is because he doesn't change. He doesn't change his temperament. He will adjust. They'll figure something out, and maybe they'll lose to Buffalo. Buffalo's a very good team. I wouldn't be shocked if they lost to Buffalo. Maybe they do. But does that mean that I think less of what the Steelers are? No, I still think they're one of the two best teams in the AFC. What's going to make that happen, make that different? Even if they lose to Buffalo, do I think that means that I'm locking it in that Buffalo's going to beat them in the playoffs? I don't know. But I would still say the two best teams in the AFC are Kansas City and Pittsburgh.
Yep. And they just right now happen to be both 11-1. And somebody said, well, they didn't get a chance to clinch. If you're thinking that the Steelers are not going to clinch a playoff spot, I mean, don't let media stuff shape your thinking. It's week 13, week 14. They're going to clinch a playoff spot. They just didn't do it the last game. I mean, that's not a talking
point. And they
point.
play in a division that has 3 teams that are likely going to make the playoffs. So it's hard. It's almost impossible for them to clinch because they could fall out very, like, mathematically speaking, if they lost the rest of their games, there is a possibility that they could miss the playoffs entirely. That's on the table. So yeah, don't get, they missed their first opportunity to clinch. They got 4 more. Got 4 more, and it's going to change very rapidly. So their goal is not to clinch a playoff berth. They are playing to clinch the number 1 seed. That's what they have to have.
I like that, David. David Grubb, host of Hard to Paint, joining us here on the show. Somebody just called in. We'll bring him in a second. That's that championship mentality. Folks who, they listen to everything that, they hear on Undisputed and First Take and Get Up and all that kind of stuff. That those are media guys. Those are media. Yeah, they played the game, but they media guys now. And you're listening to stuff like, oh, they didn't clinch. Well, guess what? They got, several other chances to do that. They're 11-1. They're 11-1. They're not 1-11. So
and that one doesn't hurt them really because it was a loss to an NFC team.
Right.
If they had been to an AFC team and they finish even with Kansas City, that's a whole different story. But they lost to an NFC team, so they still have the leg up if they both finish with the same record. Right. So it's not devastating, and we've seen other teams, good teams, lay eggs this year. The Packers laid an egg in New York. The Seahawks laid an egg against the Giants. So we've seen good teams do this year.
Right. Let me get somebody on here. Hello, you're live on the lunch break. Who's this calling?
Brother AJ, David Grubb, Ferdinand.
Hey, Ferdinand, how you doing?
Pretty good. You doing okay, AJ?
Yeah, doing great.
Hey, guys, look, I would prefer, as I can see, Pittsburgh did struggle the last 2 games. But, guys, I would prefer them to lose now than to win 16 games and don't win a Super Bowl.
Right.
So every team has weaknesses, and they see that they got to improve. I don't care what anybody says that day. If you're going to come up, you're going to be prepared to go up against Andy Reid and the Chiefs, you got to bring your A game. And so now it's the time to find your flaw, because I've never seen a coach as being Andy Reid have as many plays as he have. He's ready. So the Chiefs, they're ready. And,
but Ferdinand, like you just said, and David, you said the same thing. Even the Chiefs have not looked, like themselves in certain games. There have been games, that they just, it's like you're waiting on them to, to do that Kansas City stuff, and they don't do it. So,
they're really balanced in every game offensively.
Right.
They've had games defensively where they've been giving up big chunks of yardage and points. And considering all the money that they spent to retain the guys on that defensive side of the football, we haven't heard about the run game nearly as much as we did the first 5-6 weeks out of Kansas City. We're not talking about Clyde Edwards-Helaire anymore. We're not talking about them getting Le'Veon Bell. We're not talking about any of those things with Kansas City right now. So, yeah, they've got flaws just like everybody else. If you can find a way, and when you talk about Patrick Mahomes, we're saying, well, look how great he is. It just takes that one turnover at the wrong time. It just takes one bad throw at the wrong time to turn a win into a loss. And so I don't think that there's any team that I put and say, I'm taking them over the field right now.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I do believe that. I know I got to go. A lot of teams have upgraded on their defense. And, AJ, as far as Baltimore is concerned, Baltimore, if they want to get in the thick of things, they have to beat Cleveland. It's a must-win that they have to beat Cleveland, because the Baltimore have fallen off tremendously. And I'm glad that, Lamar's back and he's healthy. So, because they're going to need that. And like I say, the reason why the teams aren't to where they're looking is because those teams have strengthened their defenses. That's why, teams are just not, really going that smooth.
Yeah. No, friend, appreciate you as always, brother. You be safe.
All right, have a good one. Appreciate it, guys.
All right, call of the year 2017. That's Ferdinand. Always bring up some good points. I really think that Baltimore game with Cleveland, I just feel like Baltimore is going to smash them. I do. I could be wrong, but I just feel like Baltimore is going to smash. And I very rarely do I call a blowout, but I feel like Baltimore is going to beat them by double digits. I really do.
I have to see if Baltimore is ready to go. That COVID stuff is that has decimated them, and so I have to see if they're ready to go, and back to full strength just as a group. a little more consistency. That's been the Ravens' biggest problem. It's not their talent; it's just consistency this season. Particularly, we've seen the struggles with that offense. Somebody asked me last night if I thought Lamar Jackson was overrated, and I said I don't think he's overrated. I think people jump to the conclusion that a guy in his third year was done as a product. And who's done in their third year? He's not done. He's already got an MVP in his pocket, but he's not done. We were still I have to remember, we were, growing up, John Elway was getting dogged at this stage of his career.
Right.
People were talking about him throwing too many picks and not being able to lead an offense consistently. I remember, it's just there's so many quarterbacks that we've seen over the years where people want to say that they're finished products, and there's a lot of evolution there left to go for him. And they want to put him up next to Pat Mahomes. Pat Mahomes is just a freak. There's just he's got way more weapons around him than Lamar has. He was trained differently than Lamar was. So I think there's a bigger adjustment curve at times for Lamar. But no, I don't think he's overrated. I don't think he's disappointing. I think it's just this happens. This happens in the NFL.
That's why, and again, let me say the names and get in trouble. That's why guys like Trey Wingo, who want to write off guys like Jameis Winston, we know who he is. We know him. You don't even know where you're going to work. How you going to tell this man who is in the highest level of his profession, at the number one spot in the profession, that after 5 years, 4 years, he's done? You already know what he's going to be? That's the kind of people that write folks off and then look up later and see them at a higher place. Oh, how'd he get there?
Let's talk about Benny Testaverde. Number 1 draft pick, bombed out in Tampa, gets sent to Cleveland, right? Replaces Bernie Kosar in Cleveland, and ends up being the quarterback when they leave. He's the guy, the last quarterback as they exit out the door. Was nothing then. Still was a guy that people thought was a waste, a bust. Gets to the Jets, leads them to the AFC Championship game, and ends up top 10 all time in yardage and touchdowns. And so I'm not saying he was a Hall of Famer.
Well, I get it.
You said after 5 years, Vinny Testaverde, we know what he is. Then he never would have led the Jets and had Keyshawn Johnson. You remember the press conference? When Vinny Testaverde tore his Achilles tendon in the second game, I think it was the first game of the season, the year after they went to the AFC Championship, and they thought they were going to win the Super Bowl that year.
Yep.
And he tore his Achilles.
Yep.
And Keyshawn Johnson was crying at the podium and pounding on it.
Yes.
Like our season, like he knew it. Our season is over.
Yep.
And it was like Vinny Testaverde.
Right.
So if you want to write people off after 5 years, that's cool, but I'm not willing to do that.
Yeah. You know what? I want to go back to something real quick. You were talking about Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He started off so good. He's 11th right now, which ain't bad. Derrick Henry, 1,300 yards. Dalvin Cook, 1,250. Robinson from Jacksonville, 968. Well, that's a waste. Jones in Tampa, surprisingly, 820. Chubb and Hunt are in the top 10. Then you go Ezekiel Elliott, the guy everybody's trying to get rid of, 784. He's under 4 point to carry, but he's at 3.9. Then you got Jacobs for Vegas, Kenyon Drake for Arizona, Jones, Green Bay, and then you got Edwards-Helaire down there.
It ain't been a great year for running backs.
Yeah.
It has not been a great year for running backs. Last year was seemed more special, and so, look at a guy like Alvin Kamara.
Yeah, I'm looking at him now. He's
we talked about this on the Dome Patrol today. We were talking about Alvin Kamara was in the conversation for both MVP and Offensive Player of the Year. Now he's likely not going to get either. Obviously, quarterback going to win MVP, but he's out of it just because of quarterback change.
Yep.
Taysom the last 3 weeks just can't find him. He does not throw it to Alvin Kamara out of the backfield. Alvin Kamara was second in the NFL in catches. He was tied with DeAndre Hopkins until the last 3 weeks. So it's just been a strange year for running backs.
Right. Yeah, and looking at this, man, there's several running backs that are going to have to, finish strong these last few games just to get over 1,000 yards. We very well could see.
And 1,000 means nothing anymore.
And it doesn't. But, even with it meaning nothing, we literally could see less than 10,000 yard rushers. We could see about 5 or 6.
like the 1,000-yard mark and meant something in a 12-game season.
Right.
Because that meant you had to average about 83 yards a game.
Right.
83. When Jim Brown was doing it, 83 yards a game. Now to get 1,000 over 16 games is about 66 yards a game.
I was going to say 66, 67 yards a game, yeah.
So it's nothing. That's why 1,000 yards, when people talk about he broke the 1,000 barrier, I mean, that's nothing now. You wouldn't even care. 66 yards a game, that's mediocre. You know, imagine if Walter Payton averaged 66 yards a game. You'd be running him out of town. So, yeah, I don't know what it is. I figured that teams would be more likely to run this year. Yeah, I thought that would be the case, but it seems that offensive lines have taken a big hit in a lot of teams. The Saints have had that problem, and a number of other teams have this year. The offensive linemen, that COVID has really done it to offensive linemen. There have been so many, and I think the offseason too, there have been a lot of offensive line injuries this year that I've noticed, and teams are not doing a great job. That is a limited supply field. Finding great left tackles, left guards in particular who can help you in the run game.
Yep.
It's tough out there finding them.
Yep. See, that's why I say go back to Dallas, and I'm even going to throw the Texans in there. You've got to fix that offensive line. You've got to fix it up. Both teams have a quarterback. One team has a running back and a great wide receiving crew. The other team doesn't have a running back and doesn't have a great wide receiving crew, but they both need the first thing first, and that's that offensive line. You've got to fix that offensive line on both those teams.
If you ain't strong up the middle, you can't win.
Yeah.
It starts from the line on both sides. Check your team's line. If their line is garbage, their team is garbage.
Yeah, when you look at a team like the Colts, that offensive line is solid. You look at Tennessee, that offensive line is solid. And Derrick Henry running behind that offensive line versus what the Cowboys and the Texans are working with, different guy. Let me get a quick break in. We'll come back. We'll wrap it up. David Grubb, host of Hard in the Paint, joining me. This segment is brought to you by the Care Team. If you need medical insurance, you don't have medical insurance, I want you to listen up because the Care Team has something for you right here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK.
The coronavirus is ravaging our community. Make sure you have health insurance. Let Care Team Insurance assist you with our free medical enrollment assistance program. Call now.
Cowboys O-line rated 27th in the NFL right now.
Say it again.
Cowboys O-line rated 27th in the NFL right now.
27th?
Mm-hmm. Texans 25th.
There it is. There it is.
Texans 22nd for pass and 26th for run.
But it's all Deshaun and Dak's fault. Oh, and Ezekiel.
Here's the best offensive lines in the league. Number 1, Cleveland. Number 2, Tampa. Number 3, Green Bay. Number 4, Indy. Number 5, New England. Number 6, Carolina. Number 7, New Orleans. Number 8, Tennessee. Number 9, Pittsburgh. Number 10, Oakland. All those teams, and 11th is Kansas City. All those teams can have good offenses. Why? Because they have good lines.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
You go, the farther you get behind Kansas City, you see nothing but losing teams.
That's funny. It ain't rocket science, but they make it real hard, bro. I ain't saying it's easy.
The Ravens have the 20th. You think they ain't going to be struggling when you got the 20th ranked offensive line?
And again, against Dallas, they got, 3 guys within earshot of 100 yards.
Cowboys 27th again for the pass blocking and 28th in run blocking. 28th in run blocking, but it's Ezekiel's fault.
All right, we back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. Again, this segment brought to you by the Care Team. If you don't have medical insurance and you need it, like me, I'm one of the millions that don't have medical insurance, call the Care Team, 281-990-1377, 281-990-1377, or go online to careteamcares.com. They can get you rates as low as $0 to $50 a month. So check them out, see what you can get. Tell them KYOK and AJ sent you. They'll take good care of you. David, you hit some stats off air. Tell me what you just found out, bro.
just looking at those offensive line rankings, it's clear to see which teams are good and which ones are bad. Just looking at blind offensive line rankings, and they're not perfect. None of these are ever perfect. Just like quarterback ratings are perfect.
Right.
Top 5 lines in the league: the Browns, who are 9-3, the Buccaneers, who are 7-5, but offensively are one of the best teams in the league. The Packers, the Colts, the Patriots are all in that top 5. Well, where do you find the Houston Texans? Where are they? 25th. Cowboys 27th. 28th for the run for the Cowboys. 26th for the run for the Texans. 22nd against for pass blocking for the Texans. So you're not protecting your quarterback, and you're not giving the running game lanes to run through, and you have substandard backs. So if you wonder why your team is bad, look at their lines. And it's very simple. All the teams at the bottom 10 in line production are bad. And they have quarterbacks of varying levels of success, but their teams are bad. There's a reason Joe Burrow was in the hospital, is because the Bengals got the 31st ranked offensive line in the NFL.
Exactly. I'm not trying to beat nobody up, man. I'm not trying to beat nobody up. It's not rocket science. It's not easy, but it's not rocket science. Take care of that offensive line, and a lot of your problems will take care of themselves. So we'll see how things go. Switching gears real quick. James Harden showed up yesterday and has to go through has to have 3 consecutive negative tests for COVID-19 so he can join the team. Probably not going to play in the preseason game for the Rockets. There was a presser at 12:45. I didn't get a chance to join it. But the season opener, December 23rd, they host Oklahoma City here at 7. Stephen Silas said something kind of interesting. He said the trust begins to get built right now. He didn't say rebuilt, which would tell me he's lost trust in him and he's trying to rebuild it. He said the trust begins now. So it sounds like he's saying, I just need him to do what he says he's going to do. If he's not going to play, all right, that's fine. I'll work with these guys. But if he says he's going to be here, I need him all the way here. Am I reading it wrong?
No, I mean, because, this is their first relationship. It's not like he's part of the problem. I mean, that Tillman Fertitta story was crazy about what happened in November. That's wild. I don't even understand that. But if James is going to show up, that's the thing. If you're going to show up, you have to play. And that was the problem with the Anthony Davis thing, is that he wanted to play, but you could tell he didn't really want to play. Yeah. And it didn't make sense for the Pelicans either, because they knew they were trading him that offseason. Yeah. Harden still got 2 years of the player option. So for that, he is in a much different position. And he's put the league and he's put the Rockets in a much different position.
Yeah.
So, if he says he's going to show up and play, he better do it. Because, I would not want to be in that locker room with DeMarcus Cousins and John Wall. And I'm not saying, and PJ Tucker, and all those dudes who are also trying to get theirs.
Right.
And you're not going to sabotage you're not going to come in here and sabotage me. Because John Wall's got too much on the line.
Right.
He's an all-star again. DeMarcus Cousins has too much on the line. He's trying to prove that he's worthy of one more contract. PJ Tucker been asking for his money for 2 years. He wants his money. He can't do that if his team is garbage. He's not going to get money. So if James is in, then be in and let us figure this out together as a group. If you're out, tell us you're out and go home, and you got to get the Stephon Marbury treatment where you get your check, but you ain't going to be here.
Yeah.
Because we can't, I'm not going to as an organization, you cannot set precedent in this manner that a guy with this much time on his deal. I don't want anybody to be where they ain't happy. We have this I'm all for player empowerment. But when you put your name pen to paper, there are 2 things that have to be understood: that we are going to live up to our obligation to pay you, and you're going to live up to your obligation to play. And so James has no leg to stand on, because officially the NBA does not guarantee contracts.
Yeah.
There's no policy that they have to do this. They do this by choice. So what James is doing, actually, if the other players in the league, and if I'm the union, I'm like, look, they are going to use this against us when these CBA negotiations open up. talk about guaranteed money. They're going to talk about how the discipline structure of this league is and how we can find players. Because finding James Harden 10 grand is not going to do it. Not when you're making 40 million. So there's going to be a lot of conversations, and the Rockets are put into an awkward position of, if we discipline James Harden, does it mess up our relationship with him and trying to get what we need back in return, either as a player or as a trade asset? And if the league does it, do the Rockets still get the hammer because Harden says you went and ran into the league and told them to do this, and I'm going to treat you this way because of that? There's no good position for them to be in. So it has to be some self-policing from the players on that team to get James in order one way or another, because he's messing up everybody's money. And not he's messing up every player in the league's money with this.
Yeah. I was trying to find out. I don't think Harden has one of those Kobe kind of deals. Kobe got almost every penny of his money up front. So he wasn't getting checks every week or whatever the pay cycle was. Kobe got like almost all of his money at one time, which is why it would have been extremely hard to trade Kobe.
Kobe had a no trade clause. You couldn't move him because he was drafted. He had played his whole career. You get 7 years in the same place. There are very few players. I think it's 10 years in the same place, and then you can get a no trade. Mm-hmm. So Kobe was 10 years in LA. James ain't been 10 years in Houston. Right. And nobody, it's rare. I think there have only been 2 players who had a no trade in their deals. So it's something that
somebody brought up, it wasn't Kim, it was one of the other colleagues brought up that, they're talking about, James missing checks and all that. And it's like, no, James ain't going to miss checks because he got a lot of his money up front.
But even if you take his game checks right now, he's still, over the course of his career, what has he earned already? That's the thing is, he can pay that off with his Adidas money.
Yeah, right.
He fine with that Adidas money. Like, there's a reason that Shaq says, I have not spent a single check of my NBA money because of all of the endorsements I made. Well, James has been taken care of by Adidas and some other folks, and he's earned a lot of money over the course of his career. That's why I say these little games, that doesn't hurt him. And you can only do that for so long. You can't find him every day, especially if he's there. So if he shows up, you have to prove that he's doing something to hurt the organization. And you can't say that even if he plays poorly, because then you have to prove intent to play poorly. And that's why the Knicks had to eventually buy out Stephon Marbury, because he was like, I want to play. He didn't want to get pushed out. And in that situation, I put that on Mike D'Antoni. But he didn't want to go anywhere. And I think if you're James Harden, ultimately, if you threaten in my pocketbook, I'm going to be there. I'm going to show up. And you're going to have to prove to the league that I don't deserve my money. And that's a hard case to win.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because you talked about the other guys like Boogie, John, and they just did their little greeting and all that. And I got to tell you, man, a couple of these guys look like they're ready to go. They look like they're ready to go. I'm still a little worried about Daniel House, but a couple of these guys look like they're ready to go. And the last thing you need is a guy like James sucking all the energy out of the room, off the court. You got to understand there's already a temperature change when James is running the show, because you know what's going to happen. The ball is going to slow down. There's going to be a lot of ISO. And, oh, yeah, by the way, you might get it late in the shot clock because he couldn't get his off. Or you got to crash the boards because his came off. But when Russ would get in there and run the show, James was on the bench, you better be ready because we going. And I feel like with John Wall, with Boogie, with some of the other guys that they brought in, they're looking forward to a different style of play. Here you have a guy come in that don't want to be here, that's acting contrary and about to take all the energy out of the game when he gets the rock. I just feel like it's a recipe for bad gumbo.
Yeah, I think the Rockets are messed up no matter what. If you don't have him, you're not as good a team, obviously. And if you do have him, he's going to be a distraction all year, at least up until the trade deadline.
March 25th. I've written it down. I've circled it. March.
At the very least, it's a question that will be asked every day up until the trade deadline. And if I'm Houston, again, everybody keeps saying Houston needs to go ahead and pull the trigger on a deal. But why? There's no advantage to them in doing that. Even if you bench him and sit him down and say, or you play him and you say you're only going to play 20 minutes a night. I don't care. Even if you do that, his value to the Rockets and to Tillman Fertitta as an asset, that's hundreds of millions of dollars of value if he wants to sell that team that goes away if you trade James Harden. It is not the same if you just bring in Ben Simmons. The value of the franchise will not go up trading James Harden for Ben Simmons. It does not work that way. Right. And so whether it's his financial value or his player value, both of them are too low right now for you to make a deal. It makes absolutely no sense. You need picks if you're the Rockets, and you need young players, and they're going to ask for one all-star level player and at least another role player who can come in and start. Who has that right now, and who has the picks that you're going to want in subsequent years? Because you're going to want at least 2 to 3 number ones to go along with those players. Who's got it? Who's got it today?
Did you know Kim Davis when she was there in New Orleans? She was doing sports there in New Orleans. Okay. You got to get her on your podcast. She was with me yesterday. And she said something real interesting. She said somebody asked her, would you trade Harden for Zion? And she said, heck no. She said, heck no. Even though Zion has a year, Zion has all of this. And you're not going to trade all of the potential and the upside for a James Harden, even though he's at the top of his game and position and what have you, scoring right now. You're definitely not going to trade him for defensive purposes. But no, you're not going to trade Harden for a potential young man like a Zion Williamson. So the Rockets might not get back the caliber of player as a James Harden. They might have to take a couple of young potential players and some expiring contracts and some picks and call it a day. But you don't give him up for, less than that. But you cannot expect you're going to get a LeBron James-like player just because he decided he was leaving Cleveland.
No, plus, even if with Zion Williamson, you're talking about a guy who's on his rookie contract, you can extend him. So you have control of Zion for 5 more years after this. Control, not just, So that part in and of itself, James Harden, he's going to be 33 when this contract ends. And you're going to have to re-sign him to justify trading for him. So whoever you trade him to, that team is going to want an assurance that James is signing for them for the long haul.
Right.
Not for just a year or two. Because if he exercises player option in a year and he's gone and you gave up all this stuff, all those things affect the value. And if he's saying I'm only going to go to Brooklyn or Philly, well, why would anybody else get in it right now? It's the same thing that happened with Anthony Davis in that regard. When he said, I'm only going to LA, well, he ruined the market during the season.
Yeah.
But what changed everything was the lottery. And that's why you wait. If you're the Rockets, you wait for the lottery because you want to see who has the number 1 pick, who has the top 2, 3, 4 picks in this draft, and what can they give you? Because ultimately, it'll probably end up being a team like the Knicks, where you have to take R.J. Barrett, and you have to take Kevin Knox, and you have to take this, that, and the third, and these parts, and a bunch of draft picks in exchange for a team that has cap space and is willing to take a risk and say, we'll rebuild our whole culture around James Harden for the next 5 or 6 years. Because most teams are not willing to rebuild around James Harden.
Yeah, no, I think we've seen that.
Denver.
Yeah, we've seen that doesn't work. David, we run out of time, bro. I hate that. Tell everybody where they can find you and follow you real quick, man.
At DM Grub on Twitter and Instagram, and the website hitpwithdg.com. Get yourself a Christmas gift while you're over there. Stocking stuff. Send it to somebody. And the podcast, Hard to Pay with David Grubb, on all major platforms. Don't patrol out today.
I'm ready for the Don't Patrol. All right, brother. I appreciate you as always, man. Have a good one. And we'll talk to you again real soon. Okay, David?
Yes, sir.
All right, y'all. David Grubb, appreciate him jumping on in that final hour. Appreciate Willie Gibson coming on as well. Let me get Sybil Wilkes on to wrap things up with the coronavirus update. And, of course, your boy will be back, Lord say the same, tomorrow with Throwback Thursday. As always, let's not be divided. Let's be united. I love you. Nothing you can do about it. Keep that mask on and kill that racism. Not the person, the racism.
Death toll that the coronavirus pandemic is taking on Black and brown communities. Black Americans are almost 3 times that of white Americans. Previous reports said African Americans were dying at a rate of double that of Caucasians. What you need to know is brought to you by Black Voters Matter. Join the movement and visit blackvotersmatterfund.org for more information. I'm Sybil Wilkes. Be informed, be empowered.
The legendary.
Whew, man, I tell you what, that thing went fast and ran out of time on me. Y'all, I appreciate y'all tuning in today. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I love all of those that called in. Ferdinand, appreciate him. And Dominica, man, that just made my day. That just made my day. Y'all, again, keep the church Ministers for Christ in your prayers. They lost their founder and their pastor, the Bishop Richard Holman, to COVID-19. So please keep them in your prayers. But I love y'all so much. I cannot thank y'all enough. And we're going to celebrate. We're going to have a joint birthday celebration on Friday. Might do another one on Monday because my birthday is on Sunday. So let's hang out together. But anyway, be back tomorrow if you don't mind for Throwback Thursday. I think we got Chris Gardner from Houston Round Ball Review coming on. And I got another surprise for you tomorrow as well. Not this, definitely this. I love y'all. Nothing you can do about it. You know the deal, though. Wear your mask. Mask up, and wash your hands for 30 seconds or more. Sanitize everything around you. Be sensitive to everybody around you. Give folks 6 feet. And when you see that racism, kill it, not the person, the racism and the foolishness. Let's stop it. Let's move forward, all right? Y'all take care. I love y'all. All right, bye.